Hello shell buddies, and welcome back to the channel. This week is our part 3 of our Sanibel series, the Sanibel Super Haul wrap-up, where we're going to show you some of the awesome stuff that we found and some of the awesome stuff that I made with it to go to the auction for Southwest Florida beach life. All the things that we brought back that day. This one has got to be my favorite. This little beauty right here. This is a true albino apple murex. Oh, I love this little shell. It's so pretty. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Let's have a peek at what got made first. Get started and jump into everything today, just want to drop in a quick reminder about the Let's Go Shelling Day, Come Shell With Me Day on August the 1st. If you happen to be coming to Florida and you're in the radius of the Tampa-St. Pete area where you can drive and get to us, we are going to be going on August 1st for the trifecta: sunset, negative low tide, full moon. Yeah, that's my favorite shelling time. Sunrise and sunset with a negative tide and a full moon are great shelling conditions. So August the 1st is the sturgeon moon, and we're going to be going to two places. We're going to go to Port DeSoto North Beach first from 4 to 6 p.m. Then we'll pack up and take our stuff over to Pass Grill, and we'll stay there until the sun goes down and have some more fun. And for those of you who haven't been to Pass Grill, shh, don't tell anybody, but I call that place Sanibel North. Holy smoky shells. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link in here to a video from a mass beaching event that I went to back in, I want to say February, where a severe wind had blown a bunch of stuff up. And that was an unfathomable amount of things on the beach. But even without that, Pass Grill is amazing. Now, the day after we went, literally the day after we went, we had an enormous storm, and my whole little work area flooded, and where I sit had like almost 2 inches of water in it. My new shell table got a water line on it, a bunch of other stuff got water lines on it. Let's go take a look. Alright, you'll have to excuse my flood-soaked floor in my shell area. Here comes the water. Holy cow. Look at it filling up the yard. Oh my gosh. Well, that didn't take long. Good grief. At least it's not hailing anymore, but damn, look at the water. Like, it's almost to the steps now. It's under my van now. Like, it never gets like that. Today, I'm cleaning that stuff up, and I'm going to get all this stuff from Sanibel into a bucket. But before I do, I can barely bend even 2 days later. Good grief. Just show you a little peek of some of what's in here. These are in pieces, biting cones. Look at this crazy white pen shell maker. I've never seen anything like it before, and I picked up a bunch of pieces. I hope they survive the trip. I gotta go through my bag and look. There's some horse conch egg cases in there. And there's a horse conch back there. He's a little broken true tulip back there. Some more goodies in this bag. So these are all going to go into some bleach water and soak for a day or two while I make some room amongst some of the other things I have out here to do. So here we have most of the Sanibel haul in this bucket. And we come up show-wise about 2/3 of the way in there, so we've got a pretty good amount of stuff. There's a combination of bleach and water in here, and almost everything's in there. What I have left to put in, I'm hoping there's enough room liquid-wise for, or I might have to add a little more water and bleach. This bag, these are little laundry bags meant for doing, you know, delicates and things like that in the wash. So they hold up to bleach and other things because, you know, they're meant to. And they get a little cruddy when you shell with them. So I'm just going to put the little angel wing pieces and that fragile pen shell maker and some of the smalls in these bags. I'm just going to leave them on the top. And here's number 2. That's got our hinge buttercups, some of the cute little tinies, the crab claws, the operculum, that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to set these in here. And I don't quite have enough liquid. So I'm going to add a little more water and a little more bleach, and I'm going to let these things soak for a couple of days. Wow, look at that. Just with the addition of some more bleach and some water and getting those bags covered, that dingy, yucky color is already starting to come out of the bags. If it's coming out of the bags, it's coming off the shells too. So here's some of our crazy finds from our big Sanibel trip. Look at all that white pen shell nacre. It's different than the stuff that we normally find. Got some hinge pairs, buttercups there, some little shells. One we believe is albino. This thing's just gorgeous. And it's that translucent-y white, not that, the absence of color. Not chalky white like it's been sitting on the beach. Some other nippy things in there. Crab claws. Angel wings. A few of them broken, but I don't mind that. But this one's not. And that glittery stuff all over it is from the pen shell nacre. Wow. Look at that beauty of an egg cockle right there. Thanks, Sanibel. Wow. Hinged buttercup lucines. Very cool. Look at all the littles we got out there on Sanibel. How cute are these guys? Found this awesome crab claw out there. Very cool. Yeah, he is upside down. There he goes. What a great angel wing. Found this on Sanibel Island. And lots more finds from Sanibel still yet to come. So stay tuned. No show porn dump this time. Too much stuff from Sanibel to fit all in a bucket to dump it. We got all sorts of cool stuff out there at Sanibel. Absolutely amazing table full of stuff here that's just been bleached and rinsed off. And let's take a look at some of the fun things we found. Clear winner today was the Florida fighting conchs. We've got little teeny tiny ones and normal sized big ones and everything in between. Got a nice little collection of murexes, some lightning whelks, some moon snails, with some of the giant Atlantic cockles, and some pear whelks, some pieces of big whelks, some tulips, along with a little soft coral over here that I thought was really cool. That guy back up there. Found an operculum and some sailor's ears, a couple of which had some really awesome repair marks in them. That one there, and this guy here, that was pretty neat. Here we have some worm snails, some great little carditas, a baby's ear, how cute, and some crown conchs. That's a cantharus right there. I'm not sure how old he is. Looks like he's been around a while, but still cool. And some cones. How fun. And turkey wings. Loads of those yellow cockles. And this one's a freak. It's like half prickly cockle and half yellow cockle. Inside says prickly. Outside says yellow. Love those freak shells. Wish it wasn't broken, actually. It's super duper cool. I love that peach on the inside and that vibrant yellow on the outside. That's stunning. Moving on, we have some paper figs here. Really nice to find those guys since they're so fragile. Love that shell, so pretty. And a stunning collection of colors in the scallop department. We've got some rough scallops and some calico scallops, and some of them are super vibrant. Some of them are kind of muted, but all of them have some really neat stuff going on with them. Down here we have some tulips. Here we have a couple of the lace murex, a nice big guy and a little tiny one. Some of the other interesting one-offs that we got: corrugate jewel box, some coquinas, a button snail, a little tiny nutmeg, and a gaudy nautica with some really cool colors on it. A little tiny chestnut turban, purple horse mussel shell, some jingles and bubbles, a couple of crab claws there. Here we have some Dulcineas, some are hinged, some are singles, some quahogs, a couple of olives, some of that purple pen shell nacre that I love that I've been saving for a project, a couple of horse conchs, a couple of pieces of horse conchs, and some egg cockles. Some beautiful buttercup lucines here, and a bunch of broken angel wings. Broken doesn't bother me because I have something specific I'm going to do with those guys, so that's okay. And then we have some of this odd pen shell nacre that I found. Here's the normal purple iridescent stuff that I find. That's what I usually get, and I've been saving a bunch of this for a project also. This stuff, completely different. Looks like it came from there's 4, I believe, of the pen shell varieties that we have here in the Gulf locally to me. And this is one of the light ones, the sawtooth maybe. I'll have to look in my book to be sure on that one. I thought those were really cool. Now here we have some special shells. I'm going to put this one in the mix because we're not sure. I only found one angel wing that was perfect, and I just love it. It's beautiful. But then we found some other guys that are totally white and are possibly albino or albinistic. The whelk, I'm not sure of. It could just be calcified, so I'll be finding out later when I do some muriatic acid if that is truly albino and if that lace murex is too. The murex is kind of old. It may just be beach worn. This one, I am positive. This has a complete absence of color. You can see down in there, it's a translucent milky white. There's no color anywhere on this shell. It's not nasty beach worn. It's still got a lot of nice detail. This, I do believe, is an albino apple murex. Now, some of these buttercup lucines were pretty special because we found 5 of them, I think. Actually, I think we found 6 and one of them came apart. I think it was this here. But a number of them we found hinged, which is a first for us. We never find this shell hinged usually on the beach. So these are going to get made into some special earrings. You'll see I have all 3 of my drilling tools out here. My battery operated Dremel, my corded Dremel, and my corded Wen, that's the beast, the big boy, the most powerful. I'll generally use that one for drilling through something very thick or cutting, because I'm going to have to cut a lot of the edges of these to clean them up a little bit. So we'll be using a selection of these tools, and I really have them set up so fine hole, big hole grinding, so that way I don't have to stop and make changes and change out the drill bits. So I've got those guys marked. This guy marked over here, so we're going to take that off of there, and we're going to clean that hole up a little bit, not much, just take a little bit around the outside of that edge. That is a cool piece of tulip. I have some earrings that would match actually, but I like this better for putting on the tree. So I'm going to take this piece off of it. That's going to get eliminated. And this will just get rounded around a little bit. Some of those little more jagged edges gone. and round it a little bit. I wish I had a smaller one that came from there that was whole and that was the right scale for the tree, but I don't. I have two that are too big and one that was broken, and then this piece that was broken. And I thought that this piece was just so interesting to look at, and I thought it would be pretty just to put it on like that. So the question mark is going to become, where can I get a hole that big through it? Because they need to be this big to fit on the metal. These are a little bigger than what I usually would make for a hole and things, but that has to be big enough to fit on there. So we've got the bigger drill bit to do that with today, which means that the pieces that I put on the tree have to be able to hold up to this drill bit. Now, let's see what I've pulled so far. And they may not all fit on here. We won't know until we got them drilled and we try it out. There's a couple of olives there. This cool piece of horse conch. Some moons. Got this crazy gaudy nautica. It's a little faded and chewed up, but he's perfect for this. Yellow cockles, scallops, true tulips, some murexes, rough scallop, it's in here someplace, the jingle, calico clam, this small cockle, some whelks, piece of coral, a couple of these cool paper figs, of course some of our angel wing and tulip pieces here. This awesome purple horse mussel. It's lost all its periostracum. It's great. And a couple of different dulcineas, the regular and the elegant. Standard regular prickly cockle. Some of these cool crossbarred Venuses that had all that awesome creamy peachy color in there with that purple. That's gorgeous. Get that little baby's ear. He's going to be really cute up near the top. Egg cockle, and corrugate jewel box. Now this isn't a shell that people pick up very often because it doesn't look like much, but it's actually really cool. It's a relative of the spiny jewel box. You have the spiny, the corrugate, and the leafy in the jewel boxes. I didn't find any leafy or spinies really that were worth it down there, but spinies are very, very, very hard to drill. They're super thick. They're like thick as quahogs almost. They're crazy. So it's okay if we don't have that one on there, because the rest of what was on the beach is pretty well represented in what we have here. There's a little turkey wing, a fighting conch, worm snail. So this is a great representation of the shells that you'll find when you go to Sanibel or some of the other Gulf Coast beaches down here. You may have noticed I'm putting the holes in kind of some strange places. That's because they don't have to dangle from a necklace finding. They actually have to sit so they face outward properly from that little tree. So I'm putting the hole down in kind of some different spots just so that we make sure we get the right display that we want. notice me flinging shell pieces in that direction? Just on the other side of my shell table, there's a little half wall there, and on the other side of that are my flower beds, which don't have flowers in them. They have shells in them. So that's where all the little pieces and bits and things like that that I don't need go. What? I just love cleaning up shells this way. Man, it's so fun to take all the junk off and see what's really underneath there. I gotta take a break. It's too hot out here to keep going. Literally, my GoPro is locked up twice now because it's so hot. But yeah, it's so hot even the camera's not wanting to work, so guess we're taking a time out for a little while. You'll notice also that I don't have an apron on. I can't even, at this temperature, even conceive of putting a rubber apron on over my clothes right now. I saved these guys for last because they're the thickest and the hardest on the drill bit and the hardest to get through. So let's get through these guys and then we'll have our little tree decorations ready to go. Well, we've drilled all of these shells for the little memory mangrove. And if you've noticed this, don't worry, that wasn't from making anything. I cut my finger washing dishes this morning. Okay, back to what we're doing. So we had some astonishing shells from there color-wise. These guys were a hinged pair, these guys are a hinged pair, so they're going to become earrings. A yellow cockle that's just beautiful on both sides, just yellow and gorgeous everywhere. Love that. A couple of things that need to be cleaned up, and a moon snail that I'm going to drill another hole and pass a cord through. And then we have the orange, And this one is going to be a Sanibel sunrise. I think that was the little shell I picked up that was neon almost and looked like the sun coming up. So that's going inside this really beautiful buttercup lucine. We also have a couple of these lucines that were paired, so they're going to become earrings too. And I have some scallops. I'm not sure if what I'm going to do with them, but some of them are going to make gorgeous pendants because like the color on that and then that weird bend in it. Oh man, that is the coolest shell. I don't know if I'm going to make necklaces out of all of them, but a couple of them are like this one will probably get turned into a heart. And then I also have some little baby fighting conchs that are just adorable. So they're pretty close in size, and I can actually get a couple of pairs of earrings out of these guys. Just have to shorten this one a little bit. And then up here, we'll have a few that'll become pendants as well. So I've also, in between times while my camera was cooling down, put together this bag of stuff. And this and a few other things that I take off of my table are going to get turned into a couple of assembled shadow boxes. It's hard to describe. You pretty much kind of have to see it. So I will show you exactly what I'm doing with those. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and clean some of this stuff up and drill. And if it seems like I'm rushing things a little bit, it's blisteringly hot out here. And the sun is coming over now to this side of me and right in my face. So I'm going to try to drill these as fast as humanly possible and get out of this heat. Instead of doing this in high speed, I'm going to do this at normal speed and then slow it down so you can see what it looks like when this stuff all flies off. Usually I shoot that by you guys really fast, but yeah, let's try it this way today. Look how pretty this shell is now that we got all that junk off of it. And a gorgeous little purple tip. Oh man, that is super pretty. And when it was all encrusted like that with oysters, you would have never known. So it pays to take home those crusty shells. You never know what you're gonna uncover. Like a purple tipped Florida fighting conch. Super awesome. And here's another really crusty shell. This one is an apple murex that was covered with oysters. I'm going to give this guy the same treatment that I gave that little Florida fighting conch. And you saw what it looks like now. Wait till you see what this thing looks like completed, cleaned up, and oiled. Oh, that's like a whole new shell. It's incredible. So I try to tell people, don't be afraid of those not so perfect shells, because with a little effort and a little elbow grease and a little Dremel time, you can make that not so perfect shell absolutely gorgeous. Stick around to the end. You'll see what I'm talking about. Alright, here I'm making some labels for the shadow boxes, lining up some text and sizing it, and I'm about to print it out. This is how I made the labels for the tags inside the shadow boxes that say Sanibel and Fort Myers. And I made a couple of extra other ones while I was at it, fill the sheet and all of that. Now, I also seem to have had some sort of problem with my memory card while I was shooting this portion, and a bunch of my footage went missing of me assembling this shadow box space. But this is the Fort Myers base, and you can see here I've made the surrounding land area in white shells and made the Fort Myers beach, the Estero Island part, all in the colorful shells. Right now, what I'm actually doing is giving them a little coating of Mod Podge to gloss them up and bring their color out and make them shiny and pretty. And also that difference in the surface texture between the shiny shells versus the matte white shells also helps to kind of give it a little punch. Unfortunately, all the steps of the construction got lost here, but I started with a shadow box and I put my background on it, and then I work with the shape of whatever I'm trying to create in the shells and attach them all one by one, fitting them together like a large jigsaw puzzle. It takes hours because I'm constantly fiddling and fooling and seeing what shell is going to fit next to what shell. But you'll see a tiny little bit of this in the next clip. Now, here you can see my background, and I'm starting to put the outline of shells that are going to fit around the shape that I'm working. And this takes a long time, so we've skipped ahead a little bit where I've got quite a bit of it complete now, and you can see the process. You can see I pick up things and I fit them in, and if they go good where I set them, great, they get attached there. If they don't, I take and put something else there, like I did with that scallop and murex. Using hot glue to hold everything in place, and oh my god, there's gonna be like 4 of the extra long glue sticks at least in this project because I attach everything to everything and make this thing as solid as I possibly can. Whenever I get a little bit of extra, I use this little pick tool. It's a weeding tool from scrapbooking to pull glue off. And I just keep working my way around. If there's a spot that looks like it needs filling, then I try to select what fits there the best without being too big or too small for the space. And there's some of that piece of soft coral that I found on the beach. It made really cute little accents on this. So I ended up cutting it into a number of pieces and attaching it at different points all around the little Sanibel Island shape. And you can see I'm putting some more there in the front. And I'm a fan of Gorilla. I think they make great glues. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. They don't give me supplies or anything like that. But I do find that their stuff works the best, so that's what I use. And their hot glue gun has a great little fine point tip for attaching things. So you can see we've got most of Sanibel taken care of here. And now I'm trying to finish off, actually, the Captiva area of the little outline map. And I had to try a lot of different shells because it was kind of skinny and not everything fit. And I ended up layering a few different shells and coquinas and things like that to complete that little area of the map. And you can tell I'm in my PJs. It was late while I was doing this. And now you sort of understand why I'm doing this in the high speed, because it does take so much fitting up and trying and looking and turning and twisting, and it's like a jigsaw puzzle without any lines to outline where the pieces should go, sort of. So you have to make it up as you go along, basically. And if I tried to time-lapse this whole thing, oh, man, this video would have been hours long. So we are speeding through some of it, but enough so that I want you to get the idea of what it is that I'm actually doing. I am just trying multiple shells in multiple places, looking for things that are the right size and scale to sort of fit the outline without being too big. And it's not that easy once you get toward the end of the project, because the big stuff doesn't fit anywhere anymore, and you sort of have to go looking for through your tinies for things that'll fit the openings that you have left. So I pretty well have things just about where I want. Putting that little Gulf oyster drill up there toward the top, thought it would sit in there sort of sweet and cute. And you have to work fast. I mean, the glue does cool on you, so you can't mess around. Alright, now I'm just about ready to finish it off, and I'm picking some of the tinies out. I'm just grabbing them with tweezers, sifting through what I have in there, and I'm looking for the small stuff. Little itty bitty horn snails, or rice olives, or bruised nassau's, or things like that. Small shells that'll fill small spaces left in the assemblage. And that's what I call it, an assemblage. I'm not really sure what else to call it. There we are, placing one of the last shells, a little button snail in there. And then, once I think I have everything complete, I take a look at it from a number of angles. I make sure that my outline is all well covered and everything has got a nice coverage. Okay, and now we have the shadow box for Sanibel complete. And I'm just going ahead with the Mod Podge again and just putting a nice little light coat just to brighten these little shells up. Oh, didn't have the camera in the right spot, sorry about that. There's that one, nice and coated. I tried to make a good representation of pretty much what you'd find in the Sanibel area. So, moon snails and little Gulf oyster drills and canthus shells and fighting conchs, of course, and whelks, worm snail colonies, tulips, angel wings, scallops. There's a couple of bruised nassau's in here, coquinas, the semele and the tailor shells, and the cone over here, and yeah, so there's a lot of really nifty stuff. Over here on the very end of things, this is the end of the island, and this is the lighthouse. That's what he's supposed to represent anyway. So yeah, there we go. Pretty neat. We have finished the little shadow box assembly, and I'm gonna have to take them outside to show them to you because everything in here is reflecting on them. I've got 3 work lights plus an overhead light. So it's hard to see them without all the reflections and everything unless I take them outside. So I'll do that a little later on. Right now I'm finishing up work on the little memory mangrove tree. Now you can see that I've put the base onto here, and I also added some ribbon around here, a nice little teal color under this little lace one that kind of just peeks through. And now I'm just decorating the bottom of it with a few different shells. Going in here with my Gorilla Glue. And yeah, I'm putting a pretty generous amount on. I'm like a little crazy with that. I'm not gonna lie. And I made this little spot, the front, where this little moon snail is here. And I just have some shells to put around the outside edge of it. So that's what I'm going ahead and doing now. Now, the only one I'm not really excited about putting on here is the scallop, because they're not that easy to tack down, and they get incredibly hot. Okay, this little horse skunk on here next. I'm gonna turn that. Fighting conch next to go. Ooh, that's a lot of glue. Right, well, some of it'll fall down into the shell, so that's okay, but there we go. And the last one's our little olive. Okay, so there we have it, our little memory mangrove all on the base now. Base has been decorated, super cute, and it's ready to grace somebody's home and have its little pre-drilled shells hung all over the place. Nice. Gosh, I'm gonna have to find another one of these. I want one of these for my house. I'm gonna try to show these in here. I can already see the gopher reflecting in the glass, so I'm not sure if this is really going to come out well, but what you see here is one of the assemblages that I was talking about making when people were asking me, what do I do with all the angel wing pieces? If you take a close look, there's one, and 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 there's one. So this is Fort Myers. And I made this, everything in the onshore area is in the white, and then Fort Myers Island itself, the Fort Myers Beach area, and the two little islands before you go over to Lover's Key. There's a handful more over there, but there's only so many shells I could fit. So that is Fort Myers Beach, but the ocean is calm. And I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff in here. Look at there's that crab claw, the big stone crab claw, and the other one is right here, holding a little whelk up there in the end. And there's all sorts of nifty stuff in there. There's one of those really cool lace murexes bound, button snails, all kinds of neat stuff. And then over here, I'm hoping this shows up because it's kind of dark in here for this. Yeah, God, that reflection is terrible. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take these outside so you can see them better, because this really isn't doing them any justice. But here you see Sanibel Island's shape, and that split between that moon and that piece of tulip, that's the split between Sanibel and Captiva. And then over here where the worm snail's coiled up, that's the lighthouse. And Sanibel says, "Take me to the sea." And there's a little rhinestone up above the eye for the dot. And you can see all kinds of neat stuff in here. Again, another piece of the angel wing here and here. And remember that soft coral that I found? I took little different various pieces of that and put it in here. There's worm snail colony, lightning whelk, there's a tulip there, there's a cardita under it, rough scallop, piece of lion's paw, that cute canthus that was missing just his tip. And we got moon snail there. That's a little scorched mussel on the top. There's a piece of a horse conch and a cone right there. And a button snail. So yeah, and then they've got some fighting conchs right here and right here. And there's that purplish semele, the orange color up there. So yeah, some of these things you may remember seeing in the last few videos and actually saw them get found. And now here they are on a beautiful piece of artwork meant to help raise money for the area that the shells came from. So my little work table is starting to fill up with goodies for the Sanibel auction. Take a look at what we've got so far here that you've seen made. We have the memory mangrove with all the fun shells that can be hung on it in different various ways, wherever you would like to put them. Oops, try to hit it through the hole though. I just love this. I need one of these for me. I'm gonna have to find one of these tree things again. I love that. So this is all the little shells that are meant to go on the memory mangrove, and then we have this great shadow box in the shape of Sanibel Island with all shells from Sanibel, and we have Fort Myers with all the shells from Sanibel again, used here to make Fort Myers Beach. At the time I was in Sanibel, my understanding was is there really wasn't anything open in Fort Myers other than the one place. And we ended up being pressed for time that day and having to leave. So the Fort Myers shells are actually from Sanibel as well. And you can see angel wings all throughout both of these things. So that's what I do with my pieces and parts. Remember that crazy broken milk that I like because I thought it looked like a flower? There it is right there. It's got a couple of other little shells stuffed inside it, but it made its way right here into this assembly right here. Alright, and you know what? We haven't even started Sanibel jewelry yet. Let's take a look at that and get going on that next. Time to oil these little beauties and see what we got. Ooh. Yeah, that's really cool. Nice color. Just realized one of my lights wasn't on. Better. Now we have some light so we can see how gorgeous these shells turn out when we vibrant up their color a little bit by adding some oil. This one I want to put a rhinestone on, so I will not be oiling that. This moon snail is really glossy and gorgeous, and it doesn't need any oil. I'll put just like a little bit on the inside and call that done, because the outside of this is really great. Take a look at the colors on these after they've had a nice coating of oil and a rub with the paper towel. It sort of buffs them up and makes them really beautiful, makes the colors more vibrant. And it was kind of fun in the high speed to watch how things on one side of the mat changed from dull to bright, actually, as they all soaked in their oil and picked up all of that beautiful color again. Look how cute these little Florida fighting conchs came out. Oh, so sweet. I just love how pretty they came out. The scallops got nice and dark. And check this guy. He was knobbed, then knobless, and then knobbed again. He's really a neat shell. This one has a stunning pattern. And then the gorgeous buttercup lucine with that little orange scallop and those colorful scallops. And look at that murex. Remember that crusty murex? Wow, what a stunner. So these came out beautifully. Let's make jewelry. The Sanibel sunrise. Ah, look at those colors. It's so pretty.
Really beautiful. Yeah, oiling them and then rubbing off the excess just soaks into the surface of the shell and just revitalizes them, and the colors come out just amazing. This was that beat up murex I spent some time working on and cleaning up. And man, what an improvement. God, that's a great shell. Beautiful. Really nice. So I'm excited to put some of these things together. But we got a little bit out here on the table, so we're going to speed through this as fast as we can.
So, that was a lot of work. Let's see how it all came out.
You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're gentle and wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, 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 oh,
What a fun trip. What a fun time I had making all of this stuff. And I think part of it is fun because of making it to help somebody. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if it makes sense, but anyway, it gives a new dimension to things as an artist when you're making something that isn't for yourself or isn't to sell, but it's to help someone else. And there's a part of your heart and your soul that goes into those. And that's sort of how I felt when I was making these, is that it was bittersweet to be as Sanibel. It was amazing to find all those shells. A little sad to see how much need there still is there. So I put that bittersweet and that love of the ocean and the area and the shells into these pieces. And I hope you guys like them, and I hope they help raise some funds. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned, though. I'm not sure exactly when the date on the auction is, but I should be getting stuff down to Sherman in another week or two or so, because we're getting ready to go on some more shelling adventures, and we would like to go down that direction because there's a couple of places down there I've never been, so I've never taken you guys either. So stay tuned to the channel. We're going to hit some new beaches, go some new places, find some new stuff, and have a lot more fun. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. Come back and see us next week for a whole new adventure. Here's a sneak peek.
We took a chance today and drove a really long way from Bradenton up to the Clearwater Tarpon Beach area. We are at Sunset Beach, looking across at Tarpon Point right now. And I came here just on a complete whim to try a new place because someone I met at Passive Grill told me that there were piles of shells here. And I don't know if they meant piles of tiny shells or what. I don't see much yet, but we're gonna go look at the beach and see what we can find. And if there isn't anything here, we'll hit location 2.